Hello and welcome to HyzerMedia's final tournament for the 2022 season, the 5th annual Bettie Murray Memorial in Calvert Regional Park Disc Golf Course. This tournament is brought to you by Cecil County Disc Golf and brought to you in part by our Patreon family. Thank you to them and thank you to you for joining me. I'm Dave Oster here with the tournament director and course designer, Kyle VanDyke. Kyle, how's it going?
Great, Dave. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be sitting in here today.
Absolutely. We have an exciting one-round tournament for you today. A couple awesome players on our card. Chris Rice, John Murray, Adam Sullivan, and Brian Sedlacek. So we're going to get started on hole one as we always do. Kyle, let us know what we have to do to get a birdie on this hole.
Sure. So the course starts you out pretty open. It's not a very good indicative of what you're going to be getting into, but a 359-foot par3 probably plays a little closer to 325, a little downhill towards the end.
And Chris Rice is starting us off with the big flex forehand.
Yep, that'll play down that left side hill for him. So there was no wind to speak of this morning to start the round off, so he's not going to be faced with a very difficult putt.
And no wind out in the open is not always the case, but certainly favorable here. John Murray up second, going with the backhand.
Yep, it is worth noting here that there are soccer fields to the right and to the left, and you can see actually the goal down there that John just went over.
Adam Sullivan going with a little bit of the flex backhand, swinging back, looks like just in time.
Yep.
Right into the circle. And rounding out our card, Brian Sedlacek. Hyzer all the way. Looks like it's coming in a little far left.
It's going to be a common play for your righty Hyzer with 303 to 350 foot of power. It's just that it's a safe play off to this hillside where Brian landed.
Short, and even with that, he had a circle to look just a bit wide right. Chris now with a bit closer of a look. Stepper and bangs it.
Yeah, Chris has really been coming up lately. He just won an amateur type of tournament in Delaware just a couple of weeks ago.
And looking to continue that momentum here. As we saw. Oh, and a spit out left side for Adam. John also missed his putt. So on hole one, with two closer putts than Chris, looks like people are just looking to save their par now.
Yeah, I think the camera may have been getting to these guys. I wanted these guys on the card because none of them have been filmed before, and they are a couple of our local, guys that are coming up in the scene. So.
Well, we'll certainly see plenty of them the rest of the round. What do we have for hole two?
Hole two, this is one of the top 2 or 3 hardest holes on the course. 355, it plays every bit of it. You want to get a soft hyzer, righty backhand right through here. It doesn't skip too far left because there is a creek down there. This one's tough. You got to hit the gap. There's a ceiling too. It's kind of tough to tell now because the leaves have dropped, but forehand is usually a safe play. He's going out of bounds, though. He could clear the creek and hit a little inbounds peninsula down there, but we'll have to see.
So I'm guessing that Chris is predominantly forehand, throwing forehand off the first two. And we see John with the backhand, goes a little bit to the right side.
Yeah, Chris does throw a lot of forehands. This is a great shot out of Adam. You don't want to get something that's going to finish very hard left. If you can keep it down the middle and get to that corner, you're in a great spot.
And even with that beautiful drive, he's still maybe circle two's edge with some work to do.
This is Brian going for it. He's trying to get up into the circle. So it looks like Chris did land out of bounds there.
Just a little chipper for John. Does what he has to do, and he'll have a pretty easy tap in for his 3.
See if you can bring another one up. Uh-oh.
Ooh.
Yeah, those long putts will find the creek easier than you expect them to.
And
Well,
just a bit low for
I think
Brian.
the leaves are on their side.
Yeah, thick enough here that they're actually slowing them down. Sometimes those leaves can be do the opposite and skip you
Mhm.
into the creek here or just further wherever you're throwing. Good up and down from the out of bounds. Pretty short, maybe about halfway down the fairway. Fortunate to just keep it to a single bogey. John with the par.
Par is always good on this hole, especially on the second hole of the round. Not really a whole lot of warm up, and you get thrown into one of these tighter holes out here.
Yeah, very much different between holes 1 and 2, but seems like a good mix for the course to start off. As we go over to our first par 4. Tell us about the hole 3.
Sure. So hole 3. Obviously, this flyover was done a little bit before the tournament, so we have cleaned up a little bit. But this is a very difficult par 4. It's short, but this second part of this fairway, if you don't get up to this area, you can see how tight it is. There aren't a whole lot of gaps you can pick. Par on this hole is great as well. Very fair green, very fair, last part of the hole and first part of the hole, but it's just that second, third that you got to get through. I think you can hear the rain starting now.
Yep, just kind of hitting the camera, and John up first. Catches an early tree on the inside right.
Forehand, I think, is the kind of obvious play, but Adam's showing you that a backhand works just as well. Either keep it straight or late fade at the end.
And just over the creek looks like for Brian. Fortunate not to fall in there.
Typically, that creek only comes into play if you do hit something early. Otherwise, most of these guys aren't going to have an issue getting over. Chris, that long, swoopy forehand.
Looks like they're just trying to get pretty much to the corner and then play from there. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. The farther you get to the left side, to the deep side of the fairway, the more of a back door you're going to have, a wider gap. If you keep it inside, if you don't quite make that corner, then you're just kind of pitching around for par.
And even without the leaves, looks like the rough is still pretty thick, which is obviously a good challenge, forcing the players to want to stay on the fairway
Mm-hmm.
and definitely hindering them from getting all the way up to the basket on their second shot.
Yeah, you can see where John was there. He just had to kind of pitch out a little bit. And this is Adam's not normally a forehand thrower, but that's that back door that I'm talking about. And like I said, that he's going to be 10 feet away. And the farther you get your drive, then the better look at that back door you have.
Brian looks like he's following suit. Skips up right about to maybe 20, 25 feet.
While John's about to throw, he is the owner and operator of Three Creeks Disc Golf Course, a course that's right down the street from the course that you're seeing here. Beautiful course, well maintained. Only been on the ground for 9 months now, so really doing some big things around here.
That's great. A lot of growth in the local community. We were glad to be able to come down to film this tournament. I'm sure we'll be over at that other course next year or so. We'd love to check that one out.
Yeah, look at that. Chris getting another one.
And great par save. Long putt just to keep even with everybody else. And barely catching that right side. Good catch for the basket. John for his par save. And just inch or two low. This is for Adam's birdie, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
And
that's
very
how you
nice.
play the hole. Adam Sullivan. He's a great guy. He's from Lower Harford County, Upper Baltimore County, somewhere in there. He's been coming around a lot more. He's been playing very, very well lately.
That's great. And currently in the lead on this card as we move over to hole 4, pretty much wide out in the open. Would you say throw about 300, 350 short of this little grouping of bushes for your first
so
throw?
on the left there is a field that we just flew over that is out of bounds. It's vaguely painted, so I don't think you're going to be able to see it too well, but you want to stay down on the lower side so that you don't have a run up on the hill. And then from there, it's a 260, 70-foot shot around the corner.
Another one of the more open holes is Adam. Looks like you released a little bit late. It does
There is
come back and barely in bounds. And he
you
knows
can see
it.
that. You can see that walking trail over there, so that is out of bounds as well.
Yeah, big open field, and somehow we used every bit of it on that right side.
This hole begs these bigger arms to go for it, and I don't think he made it. I think he's out of bounds there, but it begs the bigger arms to go for it. But you don't really need a ton of distance if you just play that kind of safe hyzer that Adam played, and there's Chris is out of bounds as well. You know, that forehand would work in his favor to get down on that side, but John's going for it. I know he is. Short as well.
Yep. So they'll be taking it. Is this a drop zone or just where they went out?
I don't remember where that flag came from, but that's just where he went out. There was no drop zone on this hole. And during the summer months, those black poles do have nets on them. So, you know, getting down to this right side is a little bit more critical.
Gotcha. So we are at the 5th annual Bettie Murray Memorial. While we have a second, you want to just tell everybody what that is all about?
Sure. So I guess 5 years now it's been. A close friend of ours, of our kind of community, they lost their mother in a tragic car accident, and a scholarship was set up in her name for children to look for further education in our community college. So we've been trying to raise money for that every year, and just being that the disc golf community has been growing, we started to do tournaments with after parties and fundraisers and silent auctions and all kinds of stuff. So every dollar raised here today goes towards that scholarship, and we have a number of other sponsors as well. All the prizes are donations or different handout stuff that people are willing to give out. So we don't spend any money on this. We don't make any money. No one makes any money on winning here today. So it's all just about the scholarship.
That is a great cause. Definitely a great way to raise funds for something like that. I'm sure her family appreciates it so much. And we'll have a link down in the description if you want to find out more information how you can help out. For now, we'll go back to the coverage. Most of these guys with the out of bounds aren't able to get their birdies and probably just trying to save their bogeys at this point.
Yeah, I think 3 out of 4 of them just proved that it's not always worth trying to go for over that OB field there, you know.
That's
Play it
right.
safe. It's a fairly easy hole.
556 isn't that far for a par 4, but now we're going on to a much shorter one. How do you play this one?
So this is your first ace run out here, a little breath of fresh air. There's that creek that you just saw that is inside the circle, but players are going to want to throw maybe a slight flip up, something that's just going to go straight and maybe fade out just a little bit at the end. That creek does sneak up on you. 225 feet, it's right in your face, but a lot of players throw it low.
And skipping up, but just barely short, able to not fall into the creek.
Tough forehand hole here.
Oh, just skipping out. It actually kind of shanked at the left side, got a tree kick, looked like it was going to be good, but didn't stop quick enough to stay in bounds.
Oh, no. Oh, off the bridge?
Wow. Definitely not what he was trying for, but I'm sure he'll take the result. John with a Great skip off the bridge to get right into pretty much the bullseye. Good bid. Just off the rim. And another one. Not able to save the par. John able to card the birdie after, we'll call it a very fortunate result off the bridge.
Yeah, it looked like he almost hit something on the right side that kicked him down, and then he skipped off the bridge. So bad luck to good luck to good birdie, I guess.
Yeah, to parked. Can't complain about that. So scores are revealing that the course is playing pretty difficult. We heard a couple of raindrops earlier.
Yeah, at this point though, really the weather had kind of slowed back down, so no excuses out here. It looks fairly decent here. So hole 6, we are playing an alternate tee pad up top. Usually the tee pad is down the hill and plays all in the greener grass. There is a creek on the right-hand side that wraps around the basket. And 249 is actually the concrete pad that's down on the grassy side. This one was playing, I think this one measured out to more like 365, I think it was. So downhill, but it's still a good throw. And you'll see that a lot when we play this alternate tee pad. Another tough forehand hole, bringing that creek into play. Wow, I like that.
And Chris says, "I don't care. I'm going to throw
Yeah.
the forehand anyway." And an even more fortunate roll,
Great
getting all the way
Chris.
up to the basket. And good up shot for John.
Adam's got these 2 trees to putt through, and he cans it.
Perfect window. Sometimes you just have to have 2 trees you putt in between. We've definitely seen it before. A nice little move by Adam. If you just hit the window and line it up right, the disc is just going to go in.
Almost the same.
Yeah, almost the same thing, unfortunately.
But...
Yeah, Brian didn't prove my point, but Adam got it good enough.
Good birdie by Chris. This one's it plays as a should be a gimme from the short pad to not so much of an easy hole from the longer pad.
What do we got for hole 7?
Hole 7, this course has changed quite a bit. This was one of the newer holes that we had to put in. You see on the left side, it's all opened up. This is just kind of a little flip up straight shot with a hyzer finish for a righty backhand. Nothing too crazy. The gap's pretty fair, but you'll find a lot of players hitting some of these earlier trees. I hope I didn't jinx anyone, but up. And even if you finish straight, I mean, there's a couple trees to contend with, but it's not terrible.
Yeah, maybe a fortunate tree to stop Adam's disc from going much further. Just drops down within the circle.
I think this is our first hole without any out of bounds.
Roller for Chris fades out a little bit early, but he'll probably be circle 2's edge, maybe 70, 80 feet up on top of that brim.
Yep, you'll see that a lot. People shanking it off to the right. Not sure what it is, but I myself do it all the time.
Something about the lay of the land. You see the hill on the left, makes you think
So
you're
there's
going
another
right.
one. Yeah. Yeah, you from the tee, it really looks like you want to kind of flip something over and get a nice full flight out of it, but you really don't need to. You just throw it flat and straight. A little off there for John, but I've seen him make longer putts. See if Chris can get another one of these jumpers in here.
Good line, just a little short. Putting with an uphill stance looked like probably difficult to get the right power on it. Adam just short as well.
It's got a couple of those little trees to contend with there.
Ooh. Can't get much lower than that and miss it. Just barely off the rim for John. So these guys you said are all local. Are these players that you often will be playing with yourself?
Yeah, John. John's a good friend of mine. Adam Sullivan, like I said, he's been coming around a lot more, so I've been enjoying playing rounds with him. Um, Chris, I've been playing with him for I guess a couple years now. He's local to me, and then Brian, he's a Delaware guy. So when I first started in playing in disc golf, I started playing in Delaware, and he was one of my disc golf homies.
Nice. It's good to be playing with, the people you know, good players, fun to watch.
Yeah, but it's fun to have him out here supporting the cause.
Adam going with the turnover, big flex, beautiful shot. Absolutely parks it.
Yeah,
Couldn't even see it up in the sky, but it comes back down right under the basket.
so this is another hole that's changed a lot. So all this open space you see used to be woods. So that would have been way in the woods. And as you see, they built a road there. So he was lucky not to reach that. But there is a OB pit right before it. I think, Brian did find that OB pit. So you can see where those white stakes are. So it's a challenging shot. You really got to get enough distance to get around on the peninsula. Backhand or forehand works. Adam showed you that bringing that backhand really brings some danger into play, but
that's where he last crossed in and played us now like he was inbounds in West. Should we take a picture from here too? Yeah.
So I believe Brian wasn't sure and played a provisional, but this was the one that I believe went up counting. So he'll be playing it from just on the edge of the out of bounds.
Got a little lucky with that one, Brian. That was my mistake. I didn't see that last stake down there, but we'll let it slide. It's non-sanctioned. We're out here for fun.
That's right.
Yeah, well, I'll see. That's what he gets anyway.
Yeah, he's got karma got him back for it anyway.
Double bogey. You hate to see it, but it's all too common on that hole. Just because that OB pit really comes into play, and then when you play it from the backside of that OB pit, there's a wall of trees you got to find your way through.
Multiple ways to find danger. Everybody but Adam able to do it, and I believe he also was looking for the CTP flag after that putt. As we move over to the final hole.
Two CTPs on every hole today.
Very nice. Nice to have more of a little fun challenge as well. As we're on to the final hole of this front nine. Looked like a lot of trees to maneuver through. What's the play here?
Yeah, this is another one of the harder top three hardest holes, I'd say. So there is this Hyzer line that he's taking, but you can see there's a wall of trees there that you got to beat at the end. Chris is going to show you the forehand line. This one's a little safer, but that left fairway is the open fairway. That's the widest gap, the most fair gap. So I think this is the play here. Just a late turnover backhand shot. There is OB to the right. Again, this is another hole that they kind of dug some of the drainage area out, so it's changed a bit, but it's definitely one of the harder ones.
Yep, and showing by these players hitting quite a few early trees already. Yeah.
Shout out to Happy with Par there, Brian's hoodie. Another local guy started his own business, and it's a positive mental attitude business. So he's promoting mental health within disc golf and within life.
Certainly something we could all take advantage of. So that's great. Great to shout him out and have him on coverage.
So you can see those OB stakes on the right there. It does get a little bit close.
You can see just a couple of drops of rain on the lens there.
Oh, Brian.
tough.
Yeah, this is when the rain really kind of started picking up. We didn't really get much of a break after this, so the wind stayed down, but it's still tough playing in really, really wet conditions.
Yeah, for sure. Even if you're in the woods this late in the season, you're not really getting too much cover. But that will do it for us on the front nine. Adam with a 2-stroke under par, couple stroke lead on the card. We'll see, I'm sure, other players in the field contending with that as we head over to the back nine. Thanks for joining us. If you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button, like this video if you do so, and Kyle and I will see you in the next hole.